Greetings, ESM family. Here we are at the beginning of another enrollment season, and we wanted to put together a quick tutorial that will walk you through the steps on how you can quickly and easily re-enroll your family using our online admissions re-enrollment portal. A couple things to keep in mind as you start this process. This process should take approximately from start to end 20 minutes. So we're going to walk through that process in kind of an accelerated timeline here. And the first thing you need to know is how to get to the re-enrollment information. If you go to Emmanuel St. Michael's website at www.esmeagles.com, you can go to our enrollment navigation menu at the top and go over to re-enrollment information. Also on the front page should be a news article that tells current families how to re-enroll, and you can click on that as well. So once you're on the re-enrollment page, you'll notice that there's a fair amount of instructions. It's worth your time to go ahead and read through all of that information so it helps answer any kind of immediate questions that you may have. But to start this process, you can go ahead and click on this link that says Sycamore Admissions Portal. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. You'll see that this brings us to a login page. So I'm going to go ahead and just quickly log in. All right, you'll see that I am in this admissions portal. So the first thing we want you to do is we want you to go to the family section. You'll notice that it's up here in kind of the upper right-hand corner. And we want you to review any family information that's in our system. So we're going to click on Review Info. And the first thing that you're going to get a chance to review is some general information. To understand the layout just a little bit that's consistent through this entire portal, you're going to have information across the top here. These are pages you can visit to update information. So here, the general family information includes general info, medical info, and contact info. And this is really important for us. And we'll talk through each of these pieces here as we continue. As you're working, if you want to save the information you've typed into a page, you can do that. However, if you hit the next button, it will automatically save what's on that page and move you to the next set of information. So if you're on general info, and you can see that we're on general info up here, and I go ahead and click next, any changes I made on this page will automatically be saved and I will move to medical info. Now if I was in contact info, you'll notice that there is no next button. That means I'm at the end. And so as soon as I've made changes on this page, if I hit close, then all of that information would be saved. On the general information page, we just want you to double check that your address and billing address are the same, especially since now Sycamore can bill electronically. We want to make sure that all that information is up to date and current. We also would like you to just take a quick look at whether or not you would like some of your information included in the family directory. For those of you that have been at ESM for several years, we used to have a buzz book, and that buzz book had family directory information in it. Sycamore is now the current buzz book, and so if you would like to have an email address or a phone number included in that family directory so that from the Sycamore app you could access that information, that would be great. Now, I'm going to go ahead and look this over. Everything looks good for my family, Herman the Eagles. So I'm going to go ahead and click Next. Here we are on the medical information page. You'll notice that there's information about family physician, dentist, general medical information, and family insurance. It's important to have some of this stuff on file in the event that we would, in an emergency, we would need it. We can go ahead and click Next. The contact info page, which is what you see here, is really important. This page is where you could add contacts, and this includes people who are authorized to pick up your children from school, emergency contacts in the event that we can't get a hold of a parent or guardian, etc. So it's really important to have all the contacts. Anybody that may be picking up your children or anybody that needs to be contacted about school information needs to be here. I do want to draw your attention to this contact information because if you go in, you can edit a contact. And on this page, you can choose which authorizations you want to give them. So if you want them to be a primary contact, just an emergency contact, or if you want to authorize this particular contact to pick up your children. The other thing that's really important is down here, the phone numbers and the email. ESM primarily uses phone, text message, email as a means of communication with families. We really need that information so that we can communicate upcoming events, but also emergency information to families. So primary contacts should have emails and phone numbers that are current and not spam emails or phone numbers that are used occasionally. This information is really important for our ability to effectively communicate with each family. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save here. I'm going to review this information. I'm happy with it. And this is the last item across the top here. So I'm going to close this. And I've gone ahead and reviewed this information. So that's the general family information review. Now we're going to move into how you enroll your students at Emmanuel St. Michael Lutheran School. For each of your students that will be enrolling in the next grade, you will have an option here where it says to enroll the student. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. You'll notice you'll have to go ahead and provide us with some pieces of information up front. One of those things is a date of birth. So I'm going to go ahead and just put in a date of birth here, and I'm going to hit save. Now, when I'm in this enrollment portion, you're going to start with some general information. And really what's key here is that you can contact our director of admissions via a phone number or email, and that is if you have any questions about this process. For the most part, this is pretty self-explanatory. You will move from step to step across the top here, agreeing to different things, filling out information, and then at the very end, you'll have a chance to review the application before you submit it. At the end of this process, your application will be submitted for enrollment to Emmanuel St. Michael Lutheran School. So let's go ahead and just kind of walk quickly through each of these steps. You'll notice that I clicked on the word general. You can also hit the button next. I'm going to review some of this information here, okay, and all of this looks good. If your student has already been enrolled at ESM, then some of this information is already filled in. So everything looks good here. I'm looking at medical information if your child has allergies or anything you would like us to know, or if your child has a medical condition. It's very important for us to know these things, and so all this information should be current and on here. So everything looks good. I have no health issues to share about this particular student, so I'm just going to click that and hit next. You'll notice that these are downloads. You don't have to download each of these items. However, we would strongly encourage you to do so. These are all of our policies. A lot of these things have to do with agreements. You will agree to some of these same forms in the next section. So we would encourage you, while it would be timely, it's also very important that you read each of these documents because it does apply to different policies and the process of enrollment here at Emmanuel St. Michael Lutheran School. So this is for your information, and we would encourage you to download these and then read or peruse them. And of course, if you want to read all of these before continuing the application process, you can close out this page and return to the application process after you've downloaded and read all of those different documents. So let's assume that we've downloaded and read them. We're happy with them. We've had all our questions answered. We're going to hit next. Now, there's going to be a series of agreements that you must agree to in order for your application to be submitted. So as you can see in the video here, I'm going to go ahead and agree to each of these policies quickly. As you go through them, make sure that you read them and you understand them. And if you have any questions about any of the agreements, go back to the download section and you can review the document that goes with each one. Now, if we go back to those agreements, you can see that we have agreed to all of them. All right, we've gone through all of our agreements here, and we're going to hit next. Okay, you must also note if there's any children living in the household. I'm going to hit next. Okay, there's an essay here, completed. Next. Any documents that are on file, you could review those. Next. Additional information. For right now, we're gonna go over this, but we may have to come back to this. And so I'm going to hit next. Now I can review the application. And obviously what's blaringly obvious here is that we have some definite red marks here. These are things that must be filled in order for the application to be processed. So what we'll do is we'll have to go back and just fill in some of these things. So I see middle name here. That was a general information. So I'm going to go back to general. I'm going to fill in the middle name of our student. So it's going to be Golden, a middle name of Feather, and I'm going to hit save and go back to review application. You'll now notice that that red box is gone. Now, we're going to go back and just fill in all this information so we can see what a complete application would look like. All right, you'll see that we have gone through and gotten rid of all those red boxes by going back and filling in missing information. And so now I'm just going to review all the information here in a row. I see there's no red boxes. I see all the information here. Okay, and now I can hit submit. You'll notice that the application has been submitted. There's some additional information, especially about the fee that must be received in order for this application to be processed. I'm going to go ahead and close that. And now when we go back to this kind of opening page, you'll see that there's nothing else that can be done for Golden Eagle, that particular application is done. And now I would go in and I would do the exact same thing for all of my students that I have attending ESM. Now, if you're a parent or a family that is wishing to enroll a new student, let's say that you have a student that is enrolling in kindergarten. That would be a very common example, a sibling. You can go up here and you can start the application for enrollment for a new student if you are a current family. And so you can do that, and then you can go through the process, which looks pretty much identical to the process we just walked through. So we hope that you have found this helpful. When you have finished enrolling all of your students and reviewed all the information, you can go ahead and log out of our admissions portal. And then at that time, you would just need to pay the $150 application fee. You would be good to go. I do want to note that there are some days that we will have people on site to assist you if you find this process confusing, or if you have lots of questions that you would like to have answered in person. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to partnering with you in ministry at Emmanuel St. Michael Lutheran School. Blessings on your day.